call to order, March 3rd, 2025.
Recording in progress.
Sorry. Okay. Meeting. Hannah, would you call the roll, please?
I will. Linda Basinger. Dennis Anderson has an excused absence. Dan Burge. I see that you're saying here. I got your thumbs up, Dan. And Lisa Gersh. I think she's joining online now. Bye, Sophia.
What's the actual?
Lisa's joining us online. Carla Laws. Here. And Dee Dee Dalsred. Here. Betty Mum. Here. Dwayne Hansen is absent. Sarah Peterson.
Right here.
Josh Kaiser.
I'm here.
Kaiser, my apologies. Denise Beasley. I'm here. Tim Powell is absent, excused. Steve Van Haverback is removed from his CIC. He just officially sent in his resignation today. But I want to acknowledge Nick being in the audience. Thank you. Bob LaSalle.
Here.
And that's everybody.
You might notice that Steve had to leave because he's moving out.
Yes, yeah. Moving over to West Lynn, I hear.
Yes.
Excited. And then Commissioner Morrow.
Here.
And hi. We also have Scott Wilson present as well as another one of our representatives. And as a city liaison, Hannah Schmidt, I am also present.
Well, we will have our first presentation, I guess our only presentation on this Department, please. Neighborhood Watch Program.
There is, the clicker should be working. Sometimes it doesn't. If it isn't, just be sure to let me know. We're gonna do this as well. We're gonna switch yours out. Sorry, I don't know. We have all sorts of fun audio
Looks like it.
malfunctions in this room.
All right, good evening. Thanks for inviting us. This came about at our last Chiefs Advisory Committee that we had in January, and we were talking about the Neighborhood Watches program, and we thought it would be best to bring it to the entire CIC and do an overview, and then you guys can take it back to your neighborhood association meetings along with officers that are assigned to the neighborhood, and hopefully have a discussion, and if people are interested, work with the neighborhood liaison officer and Patty Stewart, and we will facilitate getting one started in your neighborhood. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Patty Stewart to do a brief overview of what our Neighborhood Watch program is.
Thank you for having us here tonight. So this will be an overview of the program, but as Chief Davis said, your neighborhood's assigned officer liaison can help tailor any watch group depending on the needs and your ideas. Okay, so what is Neighborhood Watch? Altogether, it's a crime prevention program enlisting active, and I emphasize active participation of residents in cooperation with law enforcement to keep your neighborhood safe. It involves neighbors getting to know each other and working together in a program of mutual assistance. Through the program, informed residents will be trained to recognize and report suspicious activities in neighborhoods. Essentially, it's a program where neighbors are looking out for each other. This doesn't want to cooperate.
They're not hearing very well.
Josh, can you hear us all right?
And I can hear you. It's a little far away, hearing Patty and Sean and Linda. I think the mic that's being used for Zoom is your computer's mic, not the room mic.
It is, because unfortunately we are unable to connect as we usually do the audio. So if everyone can just do a good job of trying to get as close to the microphone as possible so it
Is
gets
this better?
amplified.
Can you hear?
No.
No?
good. We'll get there.
Talk really loud.
Here, you might have to.
This one? Okay. How's that? We good?
It might just not be connected to the correct.
We'll share.
We're working on it, okay?
Here we go.
Okay.
Josh, is that any better?
No, it still sounds about the same.
Can you hear me now?
Like I said, I can hear you, but it's kind of far away. Like there's that mic isn't going to the computer, I don't think, so.
Let me try one other thing here. I know Dee Dee was telling me earlier that the other, oh, come on. Okay, do you want to try talking now, Patty?
How's this? Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay. Great. So some benefits of Neighborhood Watch could include, or will include, reducing the risk of becoming a victim of crime. Through the program, again, you will learn preventative measures to decrease the likelihood of becoming a victim of crime in your neighborhood. You'll be better prepared to respond to suspicious activity. You'll learn about information that impacts your neighborhood. Watch groups are designed to keep participants apprised of trends in criminal activity, so you'll be better prepared to prevent them from occurring in your neighborhood. And it promotes getting to know your neighbors and their patterns. So maybe you know that neighbor Tom drives a white truck and neighbor Sue drives a black Subaru, and you're used to that norm. But when you see a red truck come into the neighborhood, you might, this is a silly example, but you might just learn patterns where it's not the norm. You'll pick up cues, and you'll learn that through your training made possible by your liaison. Oh, no, this isn't. Okay. So Oregon City Police has established a pretty simple 3-step program. First, you'll learn how to organize your watch. You'll be trained by your officer liaison, and the 3rd step is to assign duties to your watch group and maintain your group. So step 1, organize. First, you want to create interest, and you do that by talking to your neighbors. Consider having 1 participant for every 3 households or more. Appoint a watch coordinator to communicate group efforts. This person will be the primary contact with OCPD, and it's their job to help expand the program and maintain the efforts. Next, we suggest that you attend your neighborhood association meeting. Why? Because these meetings are already established, there's good attendance, your neighbors are there, and at this meeting, you would meet and connect with your officer liaison. Next step in that organized phase is to identify some boundaries for your group. This could be a block, this could be several. It really depends on your area and the needs of your neighborhood. I mentioned the officer liaison. This person is a dedicated Oregon City Police patrol officer. They attend the neighborhood association meetings. They already have that contact with the neighborhood chair and participants in those meetings. This same person will provide your group training and follow-up contact as needed, beginning your watch, through your watch process, and beyond. The next step would be to train your group. So this is when your watch coordinator reaches out to me. I will schedule that training with your officer liaison. Some topics covered during this training might include what is suspicious, how to report that, an opportunity for questions and answers. And then following that training, once the liaison has met with you and tailored this training to your group, I have a running contact list, and that's a list that I'm going to refer to every 6 months, every year or more as needed, just to make sure that your watch group is active, you have all the questions answered, you have materials you need, and any further guidance. Signage, we've all seen signage. The upper right blue and white sign is approved signage that OCPD will provide to your group. The signs are placed by public works staff and within city code requirements. In my opinion, Criminals know that if a watch sign is posted, that neighborhood's taking it serious. They're not an easy target. Other options of signage might be some window clings. If you have a Ring or other security camera system, you could place a decal in a window just to deter any bad guys.
I'll try to talk loud. So what is suspicious? I think Patty already kind of covered one example of knowing your neighbors and what vehicles might belong in that to that resident or residence, but other suspicious activities, people going door to door. Maybe they're out in the middle of the night, and maybe somebody works graveyard and someone's going around and checking car doors and that kind of stuff. Maybe someone that you don't recognize is going into the neighbor's backyard, or maybe they're pretending to be a utility worker. We get that quite a bit, calls for that. They dress up as a utility worker. They'll maybe show up at a door, see if anyone's home. It's a target for them, or they're targeting a residence. If no one's there, they'll have other people or themselves maybe break into that residence. So knowing this stuff, providing that training, and making sure that people are being aware of what's going on is super important. So biggest thing for us when you see suspicious activity is please don't wait, right? Let us go there, let us get the call, let us go out there and identify the people that might be suspicious and try to identify why they're in the neighborhood or at your neighbor's house. Some good things that we need to know is as much description as you can. So what is happening, very specific, where it's occurring, what are they doing specifically that makes them suspicious, how many subjects there are, what do they look like, is there any vehicles that maybe are associated with them, and if they did happen to leave, the best direction to travel, right? I know some people don't understand or are good with north, south, east, west, but if they know, hey, they went out on Lynn Avenue and they're heading towards the police department, right? We can figure that out. So as much a description as you can is super helpful for us. And then I always say when people ask, well, what number do I call? Err on the side of caution. If you think it's an emergency, call 911. That's what the dispatchers get paid to do. They will hear what you have, and then they'll determine the priority of call. So with that, there's a non-emergency number there. You can always call that. But again, always err on the side of caution. So we use that for a lot of higher priority calls, but sometimes people can't discern, right? If someone's breaking into a house, that's a high priority call for us. Right? If someone's just kind of standing in the neighborhood, that might not be such a big priority. So we leave that up to every person, and we always err on the side of the caution. And if it's not a priority, dispatch has the opportunity to put that call into the non-priority queue.
The third and final step of the program that we have here is assign and maintain. So the watch coordinator that you assigned back in step one, their job is to plan the regular meetings and communications for your group. It's also important to form a committee of volunteers that will be responsible for managing the program and to communicate those roles. And that group, again, it can be tailored to your group, to your watch. Again, depending on size and how many participants you have in your watch group, you can make it really what you'd like. A communication plan is super important. So how are you going to communicate with your neighbors if you see something and you want to say something? A good idea would be maybe a text, phone, or email list that you can refer to. We've got some neighborhoods that have a Facebook group established, like a private Facebook group or even the Nextdoor app. It's important to stay connected with your officer liaison and neighborhood association. Attend those meetings, share updates, good or bad. Share the progress of your group and grow your watch. You know, attend those meetings regularly. Maybe you'll have new people showing up to the neighborhood association meetings that weren't there when your group was established. Share the progress. Maybe they want to join in. And then the last piece there, curate your group with materials. There's two sources there, the National Neighborhood Watch Institute and the National Neighborhood Watch. Both of those websites have so much information. You can purchase handbooks there. You can download worksheets. There's a ton of information on those two sites. and I have them here for you. So that's the end of our presentation. If there's any questions that we can help answer, great. Otherwise, I would love to hear from your groups and get you connected with starting a watch.
Bob? Bob?
Does each neighborhood association now have an officer assigned as a liaison? Okay.
Yes.
Is a street that is posted as no outlet a deterrent to crime?
I'd say from my experience, sometimes we get a lot of people that come to our community that aren't from here to commit crimes, just like other communities. So these signs are good to put up there, but sometimes the criminals aren't always looking at signs, and so sometimes they do go into dead ends. But if someone knows the area, yeah, then it is a deterrent.
The reason I asked was that my street is so assigned, so
Right.
that's all I had.
We have a neighborhood watch in the neighborhood that I live in, and we've had it for many years, and it's wonderful. People will come up in the summer, and they will walk by and they read the sign, and about 90% of them go away because we have an attractive nuisance, I guess, close, and people want to see the event, but it's private property, so that has been wonderful. We do know everyone's people, the cars, so there is a couple of rentals that are in and out. It's not like, I call them group homes that are there, and those people we can't, they're in and out real fast. But it's a great tool. I love it. Most of the people see it and just walk away.
I heard a story when we were talking about neighborhood watches, and it really touched me. A child was in some sketchy situation where she was feeling unsure and unsafe, and she saw a neighborhood watch sign in someone's window, the decal, and she knocked on that door and found safety. And thinking about it from that standpoint, there's both sides of this that we can help. We're a safe harbor here, and you better not, mess with us. So, both ends.
Denise?
So we have some of the neighborhood watch signs posted on the streets, but I don't know that it's active. How do we find out?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think what happens is some neighborhoods stay very active. Some stay active when they first start. What we've noticed is, and what we're really trying to do is build this program. So Patty would be your point of contact. This last year, we brought on 2 new neighborhood associations, right? If we don't know who the contact is, we'll work with, trying to figure that out. But that's what our goal is, right? We need our community to be our eyes and ears and give us information for us to be able to do a good job. And so that's why we're trying to reinvigorate the program. So sometimes over time, just people who started them, maybe too busy, maybe they move out of the area. But yeah, we would love to start that again.
Are there any questions online? Oh, Josh has his hand raised.
He does.
Patty, how many approximately neighborhood watch groups do we have in Oregon City right now?
That I'm aware of, that we've helped establish over the past few years, 2 active that I can say are certainly participating at this time. They are actually homeowners associations. One of them above the Park Place neighborhood or within the Park Place neighborhood, and one off of Central Point. I believe it's Hazel Creek, Hazel Farm, Hazel Farms, Hazel Grove. The Hazel Grove situation came about because as a HOA group, because that neighborhood association, to my understanding, wasn't active at the time. And so, of course, we wanted to help facilitate that, get some signage up, provide some guidance. And those 2 are active today. That's why I'm here. I want to help grow the program. And those programs that maybe were established, 5, 10, 15 years ago, they're still considered active, but maybe not as active as they could be, right? So if you have signage present, great, but what else is your group doing? And so we'd like to help grow that.
Question, there's a sign near, sorry, I'm talking over you, Josh.
Go ahead.
There's a sign not far from me, but it's not my street. Can we contact you and find out who might be the neighborhood for that street contact so that maybe we can work together and that street and my street can, join forces and activate?
Absolutely, sure. And I've had a few community contacts, though they haven't started their watch group. They ask me, this is my address, 1234 Lynn Avenue. That's the police department address. But I live at 1234 Lynn Avenue. Which neighborhood association do I belong to? And so I refer them to the website. You can type in your address. That'll direct you to your neighborhood association. And I say, please get in touch with your neighborhood association group. Again, it's established. There's regular meetings. Start there, but we'll help you along. So in that situation, if you know kind of the cross streets, I could certainly guide to that neighborhood association and get you connected there. But
They're my neighborhood association. That's not the issue. It's neighborhood associations are bigger than what
Sure.
this should be.
Sure.
So we got to divide and conquer here. But there is a sign evident already, and I wanted to know who might be the person I could contact in that neighborhood that might still be active.
yeah, we'll do our very best to facilitate that.
That's the question.
And we could always have multiple watches within a neighborhood association, right? And that's not a problem. This program is like facilitated with us, but it's whatever the program wants to make it. So whatever that neighborhood watch wants to make it. So sometimes, like I said, they were very active. Maybe they aren't active, or maybe it's whatever that neighborhood wants to make it as big and robust as they want to make it.
Any other questions?
No, I was just going to make a comment that, it is really great, not only obviously to be able to get to know your neighbors better and have better communication with them and whatnot, but, and being able to keep an eye out. A few years ago, I was actually on my way to work early in the morning, and I passed somebody pushing a cart down the road, and I thought it looked a little odd. And I actually pulled off the road, and I checked my camera on my house, and I saw the guy cross over and cross into my neighbor's house and go up his driveway and start rummaging through his trash. So I was able to go back and see that that's what he had done, and call the police department and got him to clean up his mess and get off the property. So it was, and the neighbors, they were still asleep. They had no idea it was even occurring. So, yeah, helping your neighbors out and keeping a watchful eye. I think this is a great program to be able to start up in all of our neighborhoods.
Bob?
Patty, your phone number is 503-905-3514,
Yes,
so I can announce that at our next meeting.
absolutely. And you can
Okay.
share my email as well. We also have, I didn't put it in the presentation, but within the Oregon City Police website, there is a tab under public information, and it covers this presentation, contact information there.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Public comments, James Nacita?
Good evening, CIC members. Jim Nacita, Oregon City. I'm very disappointed that winter has returned. It was freezing walking over here from my house. I'm here tonight to chat about some ongoing discussions that are going on regarding our urban renewal charter amendment in our city charter that allows us the right to vote before the Urban Renewal Agency under its current plan issues bonded indebtedness or borrows money to finance urban renewal projects. This charter amendment, by the way, is the I don't see the 3-minute thing. Are you being loose with the time?
Yeah, we're going to give you some time, but this isn't,
Right.
So I don't have a
That's
3-minute
why I was
clock,
looking for the
but we can go
for the
to.
3-minute thing.
I can set a timer if you want.
We can set you up right up here, Jim.
I'm so used.
You're used to that.
I'm so used to the discipline
Okay,
that the mayor
starting
imposes.
now.
Anyway, our city commission and urban renewal commission are now unfortunately taking steps towards spending our tax money to go to court to attempt to invalidate that charter provision that we earned through our petition signatures and sweat equity back in 2012. And there is now a group forming to defend that right to vote and defend our charter, since our elected officials are proceeding to attack our charter, despite them having taken an oath to uphold the charter. We're going through a series of educational forums. We had 3 on a Saturday about a month ago. It was quite successful. And there will be more of these educational and organizing forums taking place, frankly, between now and the 2026 election. As this movement grows, we have a multi-pronged strategy of trying to convince the City Commission and the URC that they should not proceed to do this, that it will likely be unsuccessful. And if for some reason it is successful, we want to reach a critical mass of organizing so that this will be the issue in the 2026 municipal elections, where 3 seats will be up, the mayor and 2 commissioners, with the aim of either restoring the right to vote on urban renewal, or if, this becomes so divisive that the level of mistrust of the City Commission and the Urban Renewal Commission grows to the point that the citizens, through a slate of candidates, take over the City Commission and decide to shut it down.
You can do that?
The City Commission is who can shut the urban
Yeah,
renewal
but the
program
citizens
down.
cannot.
No, I thought I said that what we are strategizing is having a slate of candidates to get elected to the City Commission to either restore the right to vote or to shut the program down.
So you're going to handpick candidates?
We will endorse candidates. We're not going to
And
handpick them. We're
what's the
gonna
name
endorse
of the
them.
organization?
Right now, it has the loose title. We haven't, established bylaws yet. The loose name is Right to Vote Defense.
Right to vote?
Defense.
And who's on that board?
There's no board yet.
Oh, there's no board
It's
yet.
an informal, like I said, we haven't filed bylaws or anything. It's an informal group.
Who's we?
Who is we? Well, there's a Google group of about 25 people right now. I'm not going to roll off all their names, but it's citizens who have come to the organizing meetings, citizens who express interest in stepping up to defend the right to vote, and citizens who are concerned, citizens who care, and that's a positive thing. So I have been invited to speak at various community groups. I want to request and let people know that if any church group, if any community group, if any neighborhood association would like to have an informational session like we've had in the past, I would be more than happy to do so. Like I said, this is going to go on. I've been in activist fights that have gone much longer than 2 years. I mean,
Do you want to give us your phone number and
Sure.
your email address for contact, and then we'll probably shut this down a little bit, and then
Thank
you
you.
have come,
Yeah.
you've let us know.
my phone
and we can
number is,
take it to our
sure, my
people.
phone number is 503-799-0725. my email address is james.nasita@gmail.com. And urban renewals, it's pretty complex. But what I was really delighted at the first set of meetings is that, people get it. People understand urban renewal. They understand what's at stake. And game is on. So thank you very much.
Thank you, thank you. Oh, a question?
Yeah, Jim, I just had one quick question. When you do your educational seminars,
Yeah.
do you have that open to just anybody
It's
to
open,
come in
yeah,
and
yeah.
talk? Because I think it's very important that everybody hear every side of every story.
Absolutely.
And you can't go with just people that you hang with that agree with you on
Absolutely.
everything. So
That's
I think it's very important to me.
that's what we aim for.
Yes, yes.
I publicize those first meetings quite broadly on all the Facebook pages, and
Yeah, I did see that. We
and,
talked about that.
I will be publicizing, anytime. For example, if a neighborhood association invites me to speak, or invites, a group member to speak, and they are open to having people from outside the neighborhood come, I will publicize that meeting and church group to anybody
Okay.
who wants to come
Thank you.
and ask tough questions.
I like it.
That's good. Dee Dee has a question. Dee Dee, your question?
Me. Actually, just more of a statement. I went to two of the meetings at the library, and I found them very open and very open to questions and engaging. And there were about 14 people, maybe more, in various different neighborhoods. But it was very interactive, and Jim he was very good at just basically taking our notes, taking our concerns, and then we would go through and we would answer or compile our notes together. I found it very informative. We're going to have them come to our neighborhood too, and to field questions.
Yes, right.
We don't want to take any chances of losing any of our votes, but we also want to know what the other alternatives that we can do than just giving. Yeah, it was very informative. I encourage everyone to sit around and listen, because it's like a little small town hall of our own concerns.
I do think it's important as well. I mean, I even think as, people who run for office or, people who are, in different sections of volunteerism in the city don't understand a lot when it comes to urban renewal. So I think even people who volunteer or people who vote, they need to get educated on it, because it does really impact decisions we make or when we vote on the ballot. And I do think as, when something comes up that's a project for the city, there is a certain amount that, whether even as a city position, we could be educated just on the background on, pros and cons and just get informed. I do think that would help just overall the population of the city. And so if we had an understanding on urban renewal, that it would help overall just the population of the city have a better understanding of it, especially since we're a historic city and we have a lot of projects that we need to get done. So anyways, that's my opinion for what it's worth.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anything else?
Betty, I'll be anticipating your attendance.
I would,
especially-
I talked with you about your last meeting, and
Yep.
I was not able to attend. I was going to, though.
Good. Hope you'll come.
I enjoy having good dialogue with
Good.
people.
Awesome.
Thank you, Jim.
Okay. March staff report.
The E-Trail News went out at the end of February. I want to remind all of the CIC members that within the E-Trail News, the meetings for the current month and the upcoming month. So for February, it was March and April, your neighborhood association meetings are announced. If you want your steering committee meetings announced within the E-Trail News as well. You have to make sure to send that information to me. But I know that each neighborhood association deals with that separately. I've reached out to all of you about the upcoming content that's due on April 14th. If you want anything aside from the regular meetings of your neighborhood association, if you want something else, Hazel Grove published their little blurb about their reactivation. South End will be doing the same thing. They will have a scheduled meeting this upcoming spring. I think in May, they're hoping to be able to have their first meeting of reactivation.
And is Mark still the contact for South End?
Mark and another individual named Paul, they've been kind of coordinating with one another, but Mark is still the main contact. Yeah. And the email address specifically is like a Gmail account specifically dedicated. It's like South End Neighborhood Association something. And that's included within the information that was in last month's or last season's Trail News for the spring season. But for the summer, again, if you want anything specifically advertised, I know a lot of the neighborhood associations do their ice cream socials. If you want something specific about that to be able to advertise to the public, just make sure that you get that content to me by April 14th. Any questions about that?
Everybody and their brother shows up when you advertise an ice cream social.
But if you're trying to engage more members.
But they're not necessarily from your neighborhood. They're not even from your city, okay? Just
Interesting.
I wanted to make sure that the neighborhood associations were still aware of the If I Were Mayor contest. That's going to be for 4th through high school students, 4th through 12th grade. There's 3 different categories. I've informed you about it before, but if you haven't let your neighborhood associations know about it, make sure that you're spreading the word. We've already gotten one submission. Usually most of the submissions that we get don't come until the day before the deadline.
Yes, of course.
Some other things that I wanted to touch base on. I know that you all know that we currently have a contract with Eagle Web Press for the postcards that we have. I've been having conversations with them. They have sent me a scope of service that's a little bit different than the prior contract that happened. Within their scope of service, they've advertised a 3-tier pricing. So the first tier is for populations that are under 500 or less. The next is for under 1,000, and then the next is 5,000 or over. I'm still reaching out to a variety of different vendors to see if there's anything that's going to be more comparable to that, but I just wanted to make sure that the Citizen Involvement Committee knew that I'm actively reaching out, trying to keep the best deal that I can on your postcards. But again, that will be the City Commission's decision moving forward in regards to the CIC budget heading into the next biennium. But we have our same rate still until the end of June. So the next biennium begins in July 1st of 2025. So I just want to make sure that you know that I'm actively working on that. And then I sent an email out probably about a month ago at this point. Jared and I are hoping to be able to get the most recent attendance for your last previous meeting. If you haven't sent that information out to Jared or myself, I know a handful of you did. Thank you for that. I can send another follow-up meeting or email after this meeting to the individual neighborhood associations as well, because I know although you're on the CIC, sometimes the secretaries have better information than that, so I'll be sure to reach out again. But if you have that information on how many individuals attended your last neighborhood association meeting, that would be super helpful for us.
Head count.
Yeah.
And why? Did I miss that?
Moving forward into the budgeting season, it's helpful for us to be able to have some metrics, yeah. And then also just for general community engagement efforts to know how the neighborhood associations have been doing. Any questions about that? I think that's all that I have. The other thing that I would like to encourage, I know a handful of the neighborhood associations have, I know Caulfield most recently included the QR code to their email subscriber list. I know that Caulfield's been utilizing it. McLaughlin recently utilized their email subscriber list too. I want you to know that that's a resource that you have. The neighborhood associations don't have like excellent rates in how many subscribers that they have. We haven't had a huge intake since the last utility bill mailer that went out initially to be able to get people to register. But an idea might be able, if you put that QR code for your email subscriber list onto your postcards to help encourage individuals to sign up for that email registration list, then you're able to reach a variety of different residents within your neighborhood in a variety of different ways.
And you have the QR codes already?
Yes, so you can reach out to me and I have those QR codes. I'd be happy to send them. I know that Donna was having some issues with getting it on the postcard. I'm more than happy to be able to help you with that if need be. Just let me know.
Okay, thank you.
And then the last thing that I'm going to mention again is if you have any other pictures of your neighborhood association, because aside from the postcards, the email subscriber lists, I also do Facebook posts. But if I do the same logo or the same picture every time, you're not going to get as much engagement. So if you just have a variety of whatever neighborhood association pictures that you have, or a picture of your neighborhood, I went out recently and took another picture of the Park Place Neighborhood Association sign to be able to hopefully get better engagement. But whatever images that you have, please send my way because that would be very helpful. Any other questions for me or in regard to the CIC budget?
Oh, yeah, it does.
Yeah,
It looks like we're going to be able to make it to the end of the fiscal year okay on our budget.
it does. Is that what you're saying?
That's a question.
I think it depends on how many postcards Elyville Neighborhood Association sends out. Right now, they're scheduled, and I will backtrack again. If the Citizen Involvement Committee utilizes all of their funds, if we get into the 10% range, so not only moving forward now, there's the monthly report that's provided that breaks down all of the monthly costs for this neighborhood association. But then there's also that overview current budget of how much funds the CIC has spent within the fiscal year, and then how much funds we have left over the whole biennium from last year's leftover and this year's amount combined. So there's still just below $15,000 that the Citizen Involvement Committee has to spend. If you look within, and I can share my screen too, maybe that will be easier. Let's do this. Go down to the CIC budget. Here you see this is the biennial years, the 2023-2025 remaining budget. Based off of the projections of how many postcards each neighborhood association is expected to send out leading up until the end of June, which is what everybody has accounted for since last June, there is a deficit of $1,023. Again, I'm going to remind you that based off of conversations that was had with upper management and Hazel Grove Neighborhood Association reactivating, Gaffney Lane Neighborhood Association reactivating, if there is the need for more funds within this fiscal year, that's something that city management has expressed that they would be able to assist with.
Yeah.
Moving into the next biennium, that's a whole other different conversation because the city commission will allocate the funds for the CIC budget moving forward. But again, for the end of the fiscal year, if everybody spends all of their expenses within their neighborhood association, then we'll be a little bit over the budget. And we're not within the 10% range where I need to go to city management and say, hey, the CIC has $5,000 left. they're expected to spend that within the next month. We're probably going to need some more funds. That's something that I will do based off of the budget. And if the CIC needs to be involved in those conversations moving forward, then I'll make sure to let them know, to let you all know ample time ahead of that situation. But right now, I think we're on track to spend all of the money. The only thing that I would be worried about is if, not worried about, but if Elyville Neighborhood Association does not spend all of their funds, then we need to have conversations about how that money is going to be allocated. But again, we still have quite a bit of time before we reach the end of the fiscal year.
It looks to me like the CIC will again have to go before the city commission to ask for more money for the next biennium, just to cover current costs, since we're going to be in a deficit slightly, and then anticipate new developments in the city, which will increase the mailing costs. So I think we need to anticipate having to go before the city commission.
Can I ask a question real quick? Is that based on what I've budgeted with you currently, Hannah, for May? Or is that if I had a full schedule, I mean, because I guess the calendar year ends in July anyways, so that's including my meeting in May, is that correct?
Correct, yes. So right now, Elyville has,
Sorry, I don't have my glasses on here,
It's
so
okay.
I'm looking at a computer screen.
I don't know, because it's always difficult too, because sometimes, like, I know that Elyville Neighborhood Association sent out their postcard for their March meeting,
Yeah.
but that isn't shown on this specifically because those invoices didn't come through to me until after the agenda packet was published. So you have one, two, including this month in March, you have 3 postcards that have gone out and you were budgeted for 6. So I think based off of May, and then also, when is your ice cream social? Is it in August or July?
It's August, so it won't be until the new year.
Yeah, so that's something that I think can be considered moving forward, is if Elyville Neighborhood Association isn't going to be using those 2 other postcards within the time frame before the end of the fiscal year, then what is going to happen with those funds? Not just for Elyville Neighborhood Association, but thinking about how we want to best allocate the funds to make sure that the CIC is spending.
I mean, we were talking about getting board signs, but we haven't even planned ahead because, some neighborhood associations were talking about doing signs, but we haven't even gone there at this point, and we need to logistically figure out how we would really distribute those A-frames. So we haven't even gone there at this point. So, because like some neighborhoods are doing A-frames more than signs, but they're usually more condensed in terms of, like, Kanema has it to where they have a whole system set up and they have more control over the area where they have their signs, where we have more busier areas where we have more of a risk. So that's something we haven't really thought through yet, really constructively. I mean, I have some areas in mind. I just haven't really thought that through yet and hadn't really talked about it with my steering. So,
And cooperation for somebody to help do it. That's always an issue.
And I haven't had the commitment yet to really go forward with it. So at this point, we're looking at another postcard set. And it sounds like maybe all of my postcards for March aren't included in this amount. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay, thank you.
And I don't know if you want to speak at all, Chris. I know that you had discussed too you have your first reactivation meeting happening on April 8th, but then hoping to do some type of social gathering within the summer.
Hopefully.
Yeah. And more will be figured out past your April 8th meeting. But I just want to make sure that the CIC is aware of where their funds are. And again, if there's the need for the CIC to request any money, but especially with hearing what Carla is saying from Elyville Neighborhood Association, I think that if need be, remaining funds from Elyville, even including them purchasing neighborhood association signs, could be distributed across the potential deficit that we would be having towards the end.
Well, we have had confirmation from upper management and commission that, if we needed more funds,
Yeah,
that
within,
we would just ask and they would grant.
yes.
And then I think that after, we should really be thinking every neighborhood what we can do. We need to get our signs in of what we're going to do, if we're going to do other things. The signs do work, but we can even also send out the postcards. We do both. But we have 99 that runs through, so there's quite a bit of traffic as well.
Yes, it's true.
Yeah, but the other thing that I want to emphasize just one more time is trying to figure out creative ways to increase your email subscription list. Because I don't know what's going to happen within the next biennium. So you know what I mean? I want us to be really utilizing all the different outreach tools that we have. And I'm a resource. I'm here for you. I'm here to be able to send out those emails. And I know it's hard because all of the neighborhood associations are based off of volunteers, and it can be hard to gather and plan. But if you have any information that you want to distribute out via those emails, the more that you're communicating to people over that platform, the more engagement that I think you'll see that potentially you can have.
So that brings me to another question.
Yes.
The QR code, does it go, if somebody scans that on the postcard, where does it go?
So I have 2 QR codes for each neighborhood association. One, which sends, if you scan it, it sends you straight to the neighborhood association webpage. The other sends you directly to a subscription platform where you put in your name and your email to be able to directly sign up for Elyville Neighborhood Association emails or Gaffney Lane Neighborhood Association emails. Yeah.
So then when you send out the postcards, do you delete? You do delete the QR code people, right?
What do you mean?
Okay, so let's say that I've,
Oh,
no.
because there's no way for me to associate
Okay.
an address with that, like to be able to lower the amount of postcards that are going out would be difficult.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Cost saving in theory.
Yes, yes.
Couldn't you do that with your sign-up information?
What do you mean?
Like if the QR code goes to the sign-up for
the
an
emails?
email, couldn't
Yeah.
they put in their address there too?
They could, but they could. That would be, it's something that could be done,
Is it
but that would
okay
be,
to do
it
that?
would be very time consuming for me. Because I get the residential address list from the Oregon Public Records. From the city of Oregon City, we use Oregon Records Management Solutions. So that's where those lists, I grab those off of ORMS. They automatically get updated through our GIS system. That information from our updated GIS system connects to ORMS. That continually gets updated. If I were to make changes, I could save them internally, but any other addresses that get added, it would be like manipulating multiple different lists and having to cross-reference multiple
It
different
wouldn't
things.
work anyway because the house remains the house. The email comes and goes with the people that own the house.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, yeah. But I like the creative thinking.
So in effect, then the list of email addresses is not accomplishing anything toward reducing the number of mailings.
Just getting different sets of eyes on it in a different way.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah, yeah.
That's it. That's the value.
So is there some way that we could accomplish that? I mean, I think one of the reasons originally for people to sign up for the email notifications was to help reduce the number of mailings, the cost of mailings. That's not being accomplished, so what can we do to accomplish that?
I think that would be an individual neighborhood association's decisions to not allocate funds towards those postcards every month, but rather move towards promoting their neighborhood associations via the emails, via the Facebook posts, via next door posts, like other external outreach tools aside from the postcard mailers.
But I still don't understand, the postcard mailing addresses are generated by the city
Yes.
for each neighborhood. So how would the reduction of those mailing addresses be accomplished?
What's your question?
Well, originally I thought that the reason to try to obtain individuals' email addresses was so that we could email those people the notifications of the meetings instead of spending the money for the postcards and the postage.
Oh, I don't think that was ever the intention, was it?
I think the intention A was to be able to diversify your audience, diversify the ways that you're engaging with residents, because some people might look at those postcards and that might be the main way that they're engaging with attending those neighborhood association meetings, but others might be more used to getting those email notifications. And I think moving forward into the future too, it's nice to be able to have two platforms or multiple platforms that you're outreaching in case if funds change, because then you're not completely dependent on one specific way to be able to engage your audience, but rather you have a variety of different tools within your toolboxes that you can use.
Okay.
So Bob, think about it this way. We have trail news and we have e-trail news, right?
Yeah.
Two different things, but they both essentially have most of the same information between them. The e-trail news can come quicker to people versus the trail news that only comes quarterly, right?
Correct.
Yeah, okay, that's fine, yeah, okay, I've got it now, I think.
What I'd really like is to be able to get a few signs, for our neighborhood that, we can print the QR code on for the neighborhood and say, whatever on it, sign up here, for more information or, whatever sorts of things. And then that's reusable over and over and over again. You can just put that out, on occasion or whatnot, and get that interest as well as, mailing out the postcards and things like that. But somebody's out walking their dog or whatever and they see a sign, QR code, I can easily snap that and go and sign up.
I think this is a great lead-in to our next subject, the Spring Forward Community Resource Fair, where we can all take this information and you're expecting people to come from other neighborhoods. I don't remember being to a spring resource fair before.
Oh, I was
Is this all new?
last year.
There was one last year,
Okay,
which
let's just-
McLaughlin Neighborhood Association, Hillendale, Elyville, McLaughlin Neighborhood Association will be joining again, but the Citizen Involvement Committee decided to host a boost of their own. That way, there's not a variety of different neighborhood associations.
Perfect.
Yeah.
So maybe we can have this information as well and get people to sign up who come to the fair, like we do for the citizens. And is that sign-up sheet up front there?
Yes.
That everyone saw? Did everyone sign up? Maybe we can sign up the people who are not here, like Josh or... Josh said he'd do the whole thing, bless his heart.
Just wait on me. Just wait on me.
But I do, with the,
Tickets to Hamilton, I'm not coming.
does this...
Yes?
flyer look familiar to everyone? It was the initial flyer that went out in that utility mailer. And this is where all of the QR codes for every single one of the neighborhood association, specifically their webpage. Yeah, it's their webpage, not the email subscriber link. But within the webpage, there's also a link for individuals to be able to go and subscribe. The thing that I really need to know before Wednesday, preferably, is the information on this flyer if anything needs to be changed. So that was within the agenda packet. I attached it separately in a separate email to the Citizen Involvement Committee about the Spring Forward Community Resource Fair as well. So just let me know if there's any errors on that. That way I can make sure to correct them in advance. And then I need direction from the CIC too regarding what you specifically need from me in regard to resources. I have a variety of different CIC banners. I have 2. And then I'm more than happy to print out some copies of these flyers, but I just want some direction on what exactly you need from me so I can provide it for you.
I think bring the flyers.
How many copies?
How many people did you have last year? I didn't come to that last year, missed it, sorry. How many did you go through?
There was like, I believe, I'm trying to think back. I think there was over 130 participants this year.
So
or last year.
150 covers it, or maybe even 100, I don't know.
That's how many people came?
Yeah, so I would probably do 100.
100, yeah, because not everybody wants one, or there's groups, okay.
Are you going to put those in the tote bags? Or are you
I'm
gonna
not
put them at a
this
table?
year. I would put them out on the table for you specifically, since the Citizen Involvement Committee has a
And do we still
specific
have a
committee.
nice sign?
What if you did less? What if you did like 50 of those, but were able to maybe make a poster board? I don't know if you already have that or not, but if you had a poster board, and then when people walk by the CIC booth, you could, just coach them right through, going through it on their phone and signing up.
The QR codes on a poster.
That's a good idea, Josh.
That would have to come out of Citizen Involvement Committee funds.
Okay. Well, do we still have that
Take it out of the copy machine fund.
Do we have a nice poster board with all the neighborhoods?
Yes.
Put the dots on?
That's within the neighborhood association basement, though.
Basement, okay, let's drag that out and with the A-frame or the little tri-frame that's on.
The tripod,
Tripod.
I can find a spare tripod, but I don't have somebody's gonna have to grab that neighborhood association map.
That map is severely outdated, just so you know, but I can grab that.
Okay.
There's one in the community room.
Yes, that's
newer.
That's the one we had at the National Night Out. And apparently it's outdated because some of the homes further out were not on that. Larry Mosley wanted me to let you know, he lives in Oregon City, the city of Oregon City.
There is, I know that date is outdated.
Yes.
So he is correct about that.
He investigated.
If someone from the CIC wants to reach out to city planning and mapping in regard to printing, I don't know what the cost would be. And I don't know if the CIC would be able to receive any type of discount for getting one of the maps printed. I don't know what that,
Well, that
The
should be,
QR code sheet can be on the table. If people
Yeah.
are there, you can just say, hey, you can just sign up, scan this.
Yeah.
This is yours. I mean, it'll work. It's next
but
week.
moving forward,
It's next week.
exactly. But moving forward
yeah, I will-
into the future, if the Citizen Involvement Committee wants an updated map for outreach
I think
events,
we should work.
so I will give him a call. Who would I be calling at city?
I will send you information
Okay,
on that,
okay,
Linda.
okay. Be patient, my computer's broken down this week, so I'm just,
Okay.
I'll get there.
And you're sounding like you love that.
Well, I do and I don't. I have just got everything ready for the city commission. I said, oh my gosh, I have to redo that again. But I was able to print that, okay. scratch out my additions, but holy crap. And can we get, does anyone who's not here, Dee Dee, do you guys want to sign up for a shift? We have, looks like from someone to clean up from 2 o'clock, or from 10 to noon, or from noon to 2. Does that sound like anything that anybody wants who's sitting not here tonight?
I have an OCPF booth that I'll be manning.
Okay,
But I can probably come over and do a little stand-in, blah, blah, blah. On
Okay.
occasion, I think I have someone else to help us at our booth.
okay.
And I'm gonna be kind of, I can probably swing by both. I'm gonna be helping at the OCPF one too, but I can definitely come by and, probably help with both.
Okay.
Because I'll be there as well.
But you can't be there until 11, you got dance.
I won't be there though until at least 11:30 because I have dance before with my daughter, so.
All right, okay, looks like from 12 to 2, and we can work on the last shift here too.
Well, we could always sign Josh up.
Yeah, Josh, what time will you be back?
He's a morning guy.
He's an early
Like I
morning
said,
guy.
wait on me. I'll be there Tuesday.
Okay, thank you, bless your heart, yeah. Okay. Let's then on to roundtable. Caulfield, we'll start with Caulfield. You still there, Dan?
Unmute. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Well, we've got a lot of things going on. We have a drug house in our community that the police took care of a while back, and some new people are moving in, so we're going to get a hold of the police department and do a citizen watch on what's going on down there now. I've been kind of out of commission. I just had a new heart valve replaced, so I'm back at it again. And that's about all for me, unless Lisa has something. Can you hear anything? Go ahead.
Oh, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. I don't really have anything. I actually talked to our neighborhood association chairperson this morning to find out if she had anything else that I needed to report. Other than, I guess they're gonna have a presentation at our next neighborhood association meeting, which would be March 19th from Clackamas Community College, Ben Schoenberger. I guess there's a land use general development plan that he'll be discussing. So if anybody else is interested in that, please come to our neighborhood association meeting. That's about it.
Okay. Ediville, Carla, Dee Dee?
We have a meeting next week. We're gonna have a discussion. We have a new officer role coming. He's our new neighborhood officer. We have Jim talking about urban renewal. We have mainly updates about the neighborhood. Joy and Dee Dee went to the transfer station meeting for Gaffney Lane, so they were going to talk a little bit about that. We haven't had a meeting since November of last year, so it's kind of a gathering.
Went to the parks thing.
And then we're going to have,
I went to the parks directorship thing.
oh yeah, and we're going to give an update too on talking about the new parks director meeting that Dee Dee went to today as well. And so, yeah, that's our meeting this next Tuesday. Do you want to talk about the meeting you went to earlier today?
It was really nice. There were 5 candidates. They gave a small brief about them. They all stood up at the podium and then again explained what their experience was. Betty Mum was there. I saw her. And then we got to go around and talk to each one. Which was interesting is they gave you an area to write your opinion or things that you liked or found exceptional about each candidate. Whether they read them or not, I don't know that. I don't know if we have any input at all. But it was at least nice to be able to meet them all. Some I was very impressed with. So there you go. Thanks.
It sounds like one particularly had some really good ideas about fundraising, so.
Yeah, everybody has their own opinion.
Yeah, anyways, sounds exciting.
Hey, Gaffney Lane, Betty?
Yes, Dee Dee and I went to the Parks Director meet and greet, and it was very good. Enjoyed it. So our last neighborhood meeting we had was on the homeless and the caring center that's going down at the Miles Fiberglass down on Main Street. And we had, I think, like 48 people or something, neighbors that came out. It was a lot of really good discussion. There wasn't any, not in our neighborhood kind of thing. People had really good questions and answers. And then we had City Manager Tony Cockle stayed and answered, talked about the city and what was going on with the city and answered questions. And so it was a very good meeting. And then our next one that's coming up, we're going to have, I believe it's Aquila. Be there.
Aquila Ravage Herd.
Yes.
Do I get points?
You get lots of points.
Well, that puts you up then. We'll put you up, Sarah.
Oh, me?
you-
Oh,
you-
okay.
you and Josh.
Let's see here. We are kind of in our quiet zone. We just had a steering committee. We're having another one tomorrow. And what I remember most about the last one was we were giggling and laughing a lot. I don't recall much business getting done, though. Did I mention that we meet at restaurants for these? Anyway, so we have another one tomorrow, and then we'll put together exactly what our plan is for the April meeting. And did I leave anything out, Josh? Do you remember something more meaningful from the last meeting?
Nothing that would pertain to this meeting.
Yeah, okay. Yes, indeed.
Denise McLaughlin?
So we have an exciting, we found out an exciting thing that I'm excited about it. The old hospital on Washington Street,
Yes.
they're going to start working on revamping it this June.
Wow.
Yes.
What's the plan?
So they're going to turn it into an assisted living facility. They came to our steering committee meeting because they needed to, check off the box.
Yeah.
Because they're going to build they had a fancy French name for it that I can't remember. It's a drive-through porch area for the front entrance. So they're going to do that, and then they're going to make individual apartments with private bathrooms. And then the downstairs, which most people call the basement, which he was reluctant to do, is going to be the dining area and activities area. So, yeah.
Nice.
I was very happy to hear that. I have a vested interest in that building because I was born there.
Oh, really?
And so was my husband. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing
Maybe someday
that.
it'll be your retirement
I'm
home.
thinking, yeah, my husband and I were thinking, well, we could just, go there.
Yeah, there you go.
Right? The other thing is that our meeting this week is going to have a pre-meeting. The Historic Review Board is hosting an open house starting at 6:15 to talk about compatible change and new construction in non-designated properties in the Conservation District. Whew. And Christina Robertson Gardner will be there to answer questions. And then she's going to be our speaker for our regular meeting. We are going to be taking over the McLaughlin neighborhood yard sales. So that'll be interesting. So it's August 8th, 9th, and 10th. And at the same time, there will be Porch Fest, August 8th and 9th. So lots coming up.
Times, yeah.
Fun stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bob, Park Place?
We recently had elections, and the CIC members now will be myself and Nick Dirkman. And as announced earlier, Steve Van Haverbeek is leaving out of town, so we won't have a chair for our Park Place Neighborhood Association, except Nick is our vice chair. So it all comes down on Nick.
Welcome, Nick.
The hazards of signing up for vice chair.
Biggest loser, yeah.
I've done it.
So I'm sure that we'll be having some elections soon
I
to try
think
to
so.
get everything back where it should be. As a member of the Planning Commission, I'm often asked why we didn't do anything about a certain apartment complex or a certain subdivision or whatever the case may be. And I just want to be sure everybody knows that Oregon state law determines what happens in subdivisions. They never go before the Planning Commission. And that's the same with big huge apartment complexes. The Planning Commission does not have any input whatsoever in those kind of developments. But we still I individually receive questions, why didn't you guys talk about that? So that's just so everybody knows.
And that's, I think, one of the biggest things the CIC should be doing is educating the public. We get all the speakers, we come in, we go back to our individual neighborhoods and talk and educate the people or our neighbors. So we're all up to speed on what's happening. Everybody wants to know, everybody cares.
Yeah, and I reconfirmed that is state law with our city attorney. So that's the way it is. That's all I have.
Okay. Well, Kenema, we had our meeting in February. It was a great meeting. We had Pete Walters was there talking about the new FEMA regulations in Kenema. That's a lot because we're in that, but Kenema neighborhood, we're not in the flood zone, so it's very disheartening to have these things put upon us. But we had a rousing speech from the fire department was there. They gave a great talk, explained why the fires were still burning after the snowstorm, after the rains. It was still burning, but they explained how that has gotten in there with the roof, the ceiling layers, and just burning on and on. We had a police department there. We have Cookingham as our rep. We'd had an incident in Kenema with tire slashings and being on neighbors' doors and being traumatized. So it was just had to get some of that out in the air. And then when you talk about it, maybe they're not frightening, they go away. So that's what I have, and Hannah has had her talk. So Adam, something you have, and was there anything that you wanted to add to Jim Nacita's comments? I just thought, or not, or maybe you don't want to. You do you, Adam, okay? You do you.
Well, I want to know how you're attacking our, what was it? Attacking our charter. Yeah, you're attacking our charter. I want to know what that is all about.
So a few things before I forget. So the first is that since our last CIC meeting and today, we had our City Commission goal setting retreat. And I always head into those dreading it, but I always leave it feeling really optimistic because of all the great work that we're able to do. It's a long time sitting down and hearing presentations, but in the end, I think we came out at a really strong place. And if any of you watched it and you saw the things that we argued about, it's pretty clear that we're about 95% all heading in the same direction. And I think that's really positive for our community. And it's just the remaining 5% that we're going to have strong debates on, and we're going to hope that we get public comment from you all on that as well. The other thing is that tomorrow we are having a special interview meeting to interview applicants for the Destination Management and Marketing Organization that we have set up for Oregon City. This is going to be the organization that handles tourism for Oregon City, and we're really excited to get that up and running. And then lastly, as you can see from Commissioner Scott Wilson sitting next to me, he and I have both been appointed to be the liaison for the Citizen Involvement Committee, which I don't think that's happened prior to having two, but I think just as a little background on, what happened tonight, I think it'll illustrate why that might be helpful, is that I was planning on coming here and then I got pulled into a call on my drive home, so I didn't know if I would be able to join. So I texted Scott and Hannah and told them that I wouldn't be able to make it. My call ended in time, so I am still here, but in those events where either he's not able to or I'm not able to for various reasons, it'll be important to have at least one of us who is here. So we're really looking forward to that.
Well, we still outnumber you.
Good point. Good point.
And then, Sarah, to your question, I think this gets, and I appreciate you asking this, because I think this is something that where there's just a lot of things that are said, and it's a very hot topic, and so I appreciate
Let's have some balance.
Yes, so I think what the question that we're getting to is something that Bob mentioned just a little bit earlier about what's in the hands of the state and what's in the hands of the city. And there was already a lawsuit filed against a portion of the charter that has been, the charter amendment that has been referred to. And the judges ruled that the city charter cannot rule what urban renewal does because they're not the same entities. It would be akin to if the city of Oregon City passed a rule for West Lynn to follow because they're not the same entities. And so that's what we're trying to figure out, is whether that's even an applicable part of our city charter. And so for me, what it really comes down to is that regardless of what happens, the right to vote is going to still be upheld because you still get to vote for your commissioners. And really, in our form of government, that's what we do, is we elect people because for most people in their day-to-day lives, we don't have the time to go through those deep policy areas. And what I've been telling to people is that I elect my United States senators and my members of Congress because I don't want to go through the Internal Revenue Code and determine, what's best for this and that. And so that's not to say that we don't have the right to our opinions and to make them heard, but in the end, it's a matter of getting clarity from our judicial system as to whether this is something that's actually enforceable. And it was mentioned that we took oaths to uphold the charter, and we absolutely did. And we also took oaths to uphold the Oregon Constitution and the United States Constitution. And in the end, if the courts rule that those documents that are higher than the city charter of Oregon City are incompatible, then we will follow the law.
Thank you.
Well done.
Well, I wasn't expecting that reaction, so thank you.
Well, I knew there was another side to the story, and you gave it to us, so thank you. That's all I wanted.
That's why I say you got to hear from all sides. It can't just be one side.
Scott,
Good job.
anything you want to add, or?
Oh, did I just turn it on? Oh, there we go. I think Adam did a great job of explaining what's going on. I generally don't think I have anything to add at this point, but I appreciate the opportunity.
Okay. Anyone else? Nick, guys? Nothing you want to add? Anybody online have anything else you want to say? Anybody in the room? Okay. Okay.
Yeah, you gotta come up front. That's all part of the fun. And your microphone is on.
And please identify yourself, because
Welcome,
Because it's
Nick.
important.
It's important, yes.
Hi,
Hi.
It's
Good to
official.
see you.
can you hear me? Is that working?
That works, a little closer.
Actually, I wanted to talk a little bit about the Metro Enhancement Grants
Okay.
because they're going to be coming up soon. And I've been involved with it for quite a few years over both through the neighborhood associate, through Park Place and some independent things that I've been able to do. And I think neighborhoods will really take advantage of it and get some really healthy projects that really represent the city and enhancing, the city from the standpoint of art and other things. And I just wanted to, I really think you should have James Graham come to your next meeting, if possible, to talk about the Metro Enhancement Grant Program. And
You know, you are right, Nick. That is a great comment because every neighborhood can apply.
right, I was going to just give like in Park Place, our Park Place signs, the ones that you see at our entrance, those were done through Metro Enhancement Grants. And we did informational signs within Park Place. There's 6 signs that talk about things that happened in Park Place over the years because, the Barlow Road goes through Park Place. So there's informational signs that are related to the original school that was there back in the
Yes.
day. And we have actually a sign that shows where the Barlow Road went through our neighborhood. Just a couple of examples, but we have 6 of them. And then we've had a couple projects, recently. We had the one in Park Place Park. And we actually have another one this year that's going on. But then other projects, just to give you some ideas, is we did the lighting of the falls.
Yes.
That was done in conjunction with the Rotary. Neighborhoods can do it on their own. Otherwise, you have to have a 501c3 that you need to work with. So, but neighborhoods can do it. So, but you have to be, obviously, I think they're due in May. So you almost have to start working on it soon if you're going to get your proposal really together. But we also did in downtown, we did the art that's on the light post art. We did those. There's like 12 of those. They're flowers and other things. And we did other informational signs in downtown. So I think it's a real opportunity for neighborhoods to do some things. And
I'm not sure you came prepared with this, but do you have any information for how you go about?
that's why you should have James Graham.
That's what you're pointing us to. Got it.
Because I know quite a bit about it, but I don't speak for the city, so.
Understood.
Excellent comment, though.
Yeah.
And do you have his contact information?
I do.
You do? Okay.
Of course I do.
Of course she does.
Linda has it all.
Like I said, it's a great opportunity. Well, and actually, in Kenema's doing one this year with
We
the
are.
cemetery.
And that's where Sarah Barlow is buried.
So, yeah, I mean, there's some great opportunities. And personally, I like to see the things that have life, beyond,
Yeah.
the current time or whatever. So that's, again, I think you really should consider it.
Okay, thank you.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Okay.
Dee Dee, you had something? Didn't you? Oh,
Try
Denise?
again. So I just wanted to give you an example of how state rules overrule city rules. We have a house on 7th and I think it's JQ Adams that is going to tear down a garage and build a 2-story building with 6 apartments. And because it's in the mixed use designation, they can build right up to the property line. They don't have to have an easement. And they don't have to have any parking
Right. With 6 apartments.
because of the new state rules.
Sweet.
Yeah. They do have to have bicycle
Yes.
Yeah.
parking.
We're going up
not
on
far.
Because, if you're going to live on that hill, you're going to have a bicycle to go get your groceries.
You bet.
Mandatory.
So this is how stupid these overall general rules are.
I know.
And we can't do anything about it.
Preference for
I
the
know.
Parking
Yeah.
is just ludicrous.
It's just stupid.
Just dumb.
Yeah. Okay, anything else? We'll adjourn until I believe it's April 7th, and thank you.